Invoke defined to call upon a certain person to do something. Our aims as a theatre company involve displaying our ideas to an audience as we wish to provide demonstrations of our themes and values through our work. In terms of the theatre company name, we're inspired through use of our influences. We look to different companies as well as our audiences as an authority that provided us with the facilities we need in order to create our work, taking depth from a range of influences and bringing them together to focus on something that we wish to put across to our audience.
Towards the end of the process, we had to get rid of the idea of having a projector screen for shadow work, as we've not been able to use it more than once to make it worth using. We were not able to justify our reason for only using it once. However, if we were able to do it again, we would use the inspiration from Bristol Old Vic's gruesome. Here, they used a projection board and a projection to symbolise the change of scene and at times a variety of different characters. This created a sterile and unusual atmosphere, particularly through their Berkovian-style makeup and direct address to characters while they were facing the audience. We would therefore use the screen to project Emily's 2 video recordings to create a more intimate physical section and create a small working unusual world to convey Margaret's deteriorating world and her mental state.
As we decided to bring in the idea of having 2 worlds in our piece, we decided to take inspiration from Chino Odimba's adaptation of Euripides' Medea, which was shown at Bristol Old Vic. In this adaptation, there was a comparison and contrast of the life of Medea to the life of Maddie, a young woman who experienced similar modern-day events which related to what Medea went through. The use of differentiating light between modern day and the Grecian times influenced our lighting choices for the difference in natural and unnatural worlds within our final piece. The use of blue and white lighting during the modern day moments in Medea created a cold atmosphere which we adopted into our piece, allowing us to create a somewhat icy atmosphere through the use of lighting when our piece took an unnatural turn. This was one of the ways we were inspired as a company, which allowed us to highlight the abstractness of our piece. Another thing we as a company enjoyed about this piece of theatre was the contrast between the character of Medea and the character of Maddie, as well as the other multi-rolling in the piece. It displayed to us the need for a clear difference between characters, something we realised was vital for the characters of Harrison and Philip in our play. In addition, the gradual change of Maddie's character into someone more like Medea was very effective. We wanted to see that type of developmental journey for Margaret's character, something that was very effective in Medea and so really truly inspired us.
To begin with, we struggled to bring the elements of our split stage together. At certain points of the piece, we used one side of the stage to perform physical sections, and on the other we had heightened conversation between characters, which didn't seem to work in the same space. We worked like this for a while until we returned to our influences, at which point we were inspired by Complicite Theatre Company. In Complicite's adaptation of The Master and Margarita, the company succeeded in subtle ways by intertwining physical work and the moments of dialogue, bringing the piece together as a whole. This is where we decided to have our characters in conversation sit down and use a deadpan expression and tone, pulling the audience's focus to the physical sections that had come onto the stage. This also provided a more disconnected atmosphere, enhancing the bizarre world that we were presenting, as well as Margaret's unconcerned attitude towards her patients. The only physical section that we didn't make this choice for was Linda's. We decided to do this to highlight Linda's emotional connection to the painting itself, as well as her unsettled and distorted mind. This contrasted her to Margaret, who made conscious choices surrounding her morals, as opposed to Linda, who had a loose grip on her own sanity.
Throughout our creative process, we were heavily influenced by Frantic Assembly. We initially wanted to use our theatrical techniques to create the idea of a soundscape. However, we became inspired through Frantic Assembly's The Curious Incident of the Dog in Nighttime and their ability to animate Christopher's world. This gave us inspiration to create a 2-sided world to Margaret's life, to convey the breakdown of her seemingly picture-perfect world. There were specific lifts in Curious Incident that we wanted to involve in our piece to create the illusion of Carlotta Donovan's body in the pond, and therefore create a gruesome and visually invoking piece of theatre.